Well, so Mr. Dwayne Gray, we got the talented. You have a pretty remarkable life. I was doing a little research. I told you I like to do my research before we start. So
All
this
right.
is this is episode 65 of the podcast. Thank you very much for being here with me, making time.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So Dwayne, man, you just published a book. Let's start with that. What kind of book is this? And let's start there.
Well, let me give you I don't want to give you a piece of the picture, so let me just start from the beginning
Yeah.
real quick. So
Yeah.
we could get, you know what I mean? So, my name is Dwayne Gray. Been in the United States from Trinidad and Tobago since 2000, January 2000.
Now let me stop you real quick.
All right. Now, the writing.
I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes.
Okay.
All right. So Trinidad and Tobago. This is I love watching racing. On during the Olympics and whatnot.
Right.
Trinidad and Tobago is two different areas, right?
But it's one country,
Okay.
two islands.
Okay.
Two islands make up the one country, pretty close to each other.
So if you're born in Trinidad, you're also from Tobago, or is it the other
Right.
way around? Okay.
Right. And vice versa. Yeah.
Okay. All right. There's no is there beef between Trinidad and Tobago? Like, do the Tobagians think that they're faster than the Trinidadians?
Not really a beef, but there's a distinct difference for
Okay.
those who are very familiar with the culture there.
Okay.
No,
Tell me
because
what's the differences?
I tell people I'm from Trinidad, but really I'm from Tobago.
Okay.
And that's not because of it will make me look any better, but I end up having to go through an entire explanation as to why this country happens to have two names.
Right.
And what is Tobago? I never heard of Tobago. But as soon as I say Trinidad, then they'll be like, oh, yeah, I know there, but where's there? And then I have to explain the whole thing, like how I'm doing with you right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
It's this, but every person you meet, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like if I said I'm from the United States and Canada. It's like wait, which part are you from? Well, no, I mean I was born in Alaska. Alaska is just above Canada. I'm trying. That's what
Right.
Okay. All right. So I'm sorry, I stopped you really early in the story. You was born in Trinidad and Tobago, man. You was born in the Caribbean.
Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
Physically, actually in Tobago, the island of Tobago.
Thank you for clarifying.
Right, which is the smaller of the two islands.
Okay.
All right, it's like a dot when you look at the map.
Okay.
Trinidad has a little more body, but that one is just like a dot. Someone might have slipped their pen and made a dot by accident, type dot.
Yeah.
And I have ridden like when I was a teenager. I remember riding from one end to the other in a day. With a BMX bike, cramps, all sorts of things. Who fell out, all that,
Yeah.
But you can do it. It's possible, So that's to give you an idea of how small that island is. But Trinidad, there's no way you're doing that.
So
you're not gonna survive.
So tell me, what's a distinct difference between Tobago and Trinidad? Like, what's something that only someone that's familiar with the areas would know? Like, is there a distinct food or a type of music or a dance, or is there a dialect? Or are you guys are just pretty synonymous with each other?
We're synonymous as far as the music and the food,
Mm-hmm.
the culture,
Mm-hmm.
the overall culture itself. But when it comes to little details like there's an accent that's different.
Okay.
And I don't like to say it because it offends some Trinidadians. But
we're here to offend people, man. Come on.
It's a good
Come on, man.
It's a good way to describe how they speak.
Okay.
It sounds like they're singing sometimes.
Okay. All right.
They drag a lot. Some of the words they drag. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound bad, but it's a distinctive character of how they speak that you could differentiate.
Okay.
Now with me, like I'm from Tobago.
Mm-hmm.
I have practiced to speak like this. This takes me a conscious effort to speak to you like this proper.
Right.
But when I back home, I talk to my people like normal. You know what I mean? I feel like
Uh-huh.
what is doing like that, right
Uh-huh.
there,
Yeah.
right? You know, and it's a lot quicker
Yeah.
and it's not abrupt, like to the, you know. But Trinidadian kind of drag they kind of drag that last word.
Okay.
You know, like
So
come on,
in
you know?
terms of pride, which region has had the most famous people, right? Track athletes, actors, singers, what the most famous people? What, like, is there, because I know, for example, I'm from the Bay Area, right? But the Bay Area is a collective of Oakland, San Francisco, San Leandro, Sacramento, I guess, but San Jose, a bunch of areas. And so there's pride amongst, where this person is from specifically. There's, most of the rappers come from Oakland, and most of the tech people come from San Francisco.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in Trinidad and Tobago, there's a lot of talent that from there, mostly musical, but there's a lot of craft and stuff as well. Have you heard of Atto Bolden?
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are stars that derive from there, but I wouldn't say most come from one or the other because like Shadow. Shadow is he was one of the most popular Calypsonians back home.
Uh-huh.
Me coming up. You know what I mean? He was up there.
Yeah.
I mean, he was at the top, famous guy. And he came from Tobago, but moved to Trinidad.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But
Mighty Shadow?
yes, the Mighty
Okay.
Shadow.
Okay.
And we don't really look at that type of stuff.
Okay,
Like
I'm
which
sorry.
island the person comes from, because it's like Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
So we don't really look at but he's actually from my island, there's no petty stuff like that as far as I know.
Well, Dwayne, that's the person I am. I'm very petty. I'm always trying to instigate beef between whoever. That's who I am. But so so you say your story starts back in Trinidad, and I noticed that you state pretty early on in your in one of your intros to your books that your mother actually migrated to the United States pretty early on while you were a child, and you and your sister, right?
Yes.
So because the reason why I thought that was very interesting is because I actually have a family member, same thing happened. He was born in Ethiopia. My brother was born in Ethiopia, and my mother actually migrated to the United States while he was very young. And she came and did the whole. So what was that experience like for you? That's always one area that I've always been very interested in about my brother's life.
Well, it's always a feeling of something missing,
Right.
But it comes with a feeling of looking forward to something. You always have something to look forward to, and that's mommy home. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I understood, as young as I was, she knelt down with me. I remember 7 years old, and she explained to me why she was leaving. But whenever your mother says she's leaving, by the end of the day she'll be back. I'm still looking forward to that.
Right.
And then I realized it was more than that.
Yeah.
And then I ended up with my aunt.
Yeah.
And then up with a couple strangers, bouncing back and forth. It was a very uneasy childhood.
For sure.
And that went on. She came in between little visits for 2 weeks or so, here and there in between, years apart. But I never really, I was always longing for that to be back, because she's all I had. I didn't grow up. I didn't grow up with my father.
Right.
My stepfather, believing he was my father, but that was a different story.
Oh man, we're gonna need a part 2 for this one, huh?
No.
So for those of us that obviously haven't lived that experience and can't like fully conceptualize it, what were some of the, looking back, what were some of the things you took away that helped you through that process, and then what are some of the things that you think that helped create within you, some of the positive things?
It definitely made me tougher, because I think it's almost like I was deliberately placed in that position because my personality as a child was really soft.
You say you were soft?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Really soft, man. And I grew up amongst girls.
Yeah.
Most of my girl cousins, my sister. You know what I mean? It's just
right.
a lot of girls and women, you know, and I think that kind of made me a little soft. And I only realized that when I met like tougher kids that would play rough, you know, rough houses.
Yeah.
I had to toughen up or they can cry and they had no mercy. It's either you toughen up or you just get advantage.
Right.
And I just, you know, I chose to toughen up. I just had to do it, you know.
Yeah.
But it made me grow tough and I had no one to defend me. That was the biggest part. There's no mother to run to. Like, I'm going to tell, you know. None of that. And they know this.
Yeah.
So they take advantage, man. They knew I was there alone, you know. So I had to get tough, man. I had a lot of abusive situations and different stuff I had to deal with. My sister, I had to defend her as the older brother. So I had to look out for myself and my younger sister, who was more vulnerable as a girl, you know. It was a tough childhood growing up, man. And I think it prepared me because I later joined the army and it didn't faze me at all, man.
Right. You said, this is easy. You said, well, y'all worried about some mustard gas? This is easy. That's funny, man. That's what, you know, I hope we get to this topic later on if we have time, but that's one of the things about dealing with 2020. A lot of people at my job specifically have been struggling, you know, a lot of people have been taking a lot of mental health days from work and, you know, and this is, you know, a lot of the, you know, white, black, Asian, whatever. A lot of people have been stressing about this year, coronavirus, the racial issues, the presidency, and work, how stressful work's been. And for me, for the most part, I've been like, you guys this has been happening, right? Stuff like this has been happening. There's always something wrong. You always got to adjust, right? And it's just crazy to me how mentally, how my mental strength has been prepped for most of my life, right? And up until this point now, it hasn't made sense until now. Now it's like I'm able to work, you know, I'm performing, I'm doing my job, and you know, I'm
fun.
Right. So, so so let's go in chronological order as best as possible. I jump around a lot, but let's try to stay on the path here. And you said you've been a poet since the age of 13, and you wrote that I grew up in a Christian faith and always prayed to God as a child. I always prayed to God as a child that He would reveal my talent to me, and I finally gave up praying for it, and that's when it finally happened.
Right.
Oh, tell me a little bit more about that. Yeah.
So, like, growing up, like, kids at a very early age, it would be obvious what their talent is. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. I thought that was just normal. But
what kind of talents were you seeing around you?
Like, I was seeing a lot of craft. People were able to make things. I even learned some of other people's talent.
Trying to, like, right.
Like, yeah, you know, you can't do it as well as them, but trying to have something that I could say is mine, or at least, you know, resembles mine.
Right.
Because I was praying and I couldn't find anything.
So you were hoping to find a thing you were naturally good at? Is that what you're saying, or that you loved?
Right.
Like, what did that? Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And what was expected of you at that time? Like, what did people expect of you? Because obviously, I don't. Yeah, go ahead.
They will look at that as most people look at it as a distraction. You study your schoolwork, all that, you know, whatever you have on the side, whatever. But if you're not doing good at your schoolwork, that's a problem. That's when that extra thing, curricular activity there becomes a problem. So they don't really put that first, you know. But so I had to, the pushing and encouraging of this talent was on me, because, you know, most children is almost like it's a phase you go through. You know, I spoke to a lot of people and they're like, I used to write, you know, when I was younger. You know, I had that a lot. I used to write when I was younger, but somewhere around 18 or 16, you know, I stopped, and then I never went back, you know. but it wasn't a phase for me. It kept me going. It was like therapy because I was a skinny little boy running around.
Mm-hmm.
I used to fight, knowing that I'll get beat up, but I never like to back off. So fight never worked out for me. You know what I mean? So I vented on paper.
Yeah.
I vented on paper. You know.
Yeah.
And that really worked for me a lot. You know, I was able to release everything without hurting anyone.
Right.
Or getting myself hurt rather. Right.
Right.
So
was at that
so
around that time.
I had to push myself.
And around that time, was there a certain artist or a poet or artist, or a musical artist that really caught your eye or inspired you, or was this kind of all you just kind of stumbled upon this skill on your own?
You wouldn't believe how it's a funny. I was 13, of course. I started school kind of late. And so when I entered high school, I was 13 years old. I just turned 13. Right? I just turned 13 years old. And the school system, it's very different back home than here. Back home, we say form. Like high school, y'all say grade. You know, it's a whole different. So I entered Form 1, which is entering high school.
Okay.
Into Form 1. And I was 13 years old. And this girl in the older class, in the
upper
she was about
form.
to graduate.
Right.
The upper form. She was about to graduate. And but she was very attractive to me. I was 13 years old, man.
Right.
So looking at this older girl, she's about to leave.
Right.
You know, I didn't stand a chance. But I flirted with her any chance I got. She entertained it. She'd be like, "Oh, cutie," pinch my cheeks, stuff like that, and move on. You know?
Yeah. Hey, you thought hey, that was something for you back at 13, though.
Yeah, that was something. That was fun. She touched me, man. You know? So.
Yeah, that's something, man.
You know, that's something.
Right. Hey, you don't know what game is at 13. Right. You're like, hey.
Yeah. I ain't even touched nothing yet, man.
Right.
Stop, you know?
Right.
So she used to entertain it and stuff, you know. And then one day she came up to me. She was like, "Hey, today's my birthday, you know." I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Can you write something? Let me know how you feel about me."
What?
Let me know how you feel about me. This is an older girl, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't look at it as no crime.
Right.
I like you too, you know. So
right.
Why not? So I'm thrilled at this, man. This is the moment. This is where you go on stage and prove yourself.
Yeah, right.
Like moment for me.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, maybe I could switch a whole mindset about just ignore ages and be with me, you know? So I'm toiling at this point, man. I'm pretending to look at the teacher like I'm taking notes, real studious and stuff, but I'm on this thing, bro. For the whole morning, the entire morning until about lunchtime.
Yeah.
Then I was like, yes, it's finally finished. I tell you, I made a carpet of paper with failures, you know?
Right.
I finally got the one. And I was like, yes, this is it. You know, I hope she likes it. I took a deep breath and I went up to her. I know where she ate for lunch and everything. So I went up to her. I was like, hey, I wrote the poem for you. I wrote this poem for you. You know? And she took it, you know, just casual. She didn't really seem excited or anything. She just, you know, easily just reached over and took it from me.
Yeah.
And then she just started reading. She's reading. She stood up to read. She got up from her lunch and she started there reading the paper. I'm standing there looking at her.
Yeah.
You know, just wiggling my toes, wiggling my fingers.
Nervous. Yeah.
Express something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then she wraps the paper up in a ball, my friend.
No.
And tossed the paper at me. It bounced off me on the floor. And she says, how can you do that? Like, I asked you to write something for me, telling me how you feel about me. And you go to a book and copy something and bring it to me and pretend that it's you.
What?
And I was like, no. And before I could say two things out my mouth to explain that that's exactly what I did write something for myself. She turned around and just she took up her lunch and dipped, man. Left me
Oh
standing
my
there.
gosh.
I was almost in tears, man. I took
Oh my gosh.
walked away, and I was about to just burst into freaking tears, man.
Yeah.
And then I started to smile, the weirdest thing. Because I was like, wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Yes. Yup. Yup.
That was the very first moment, man. And
you wrote a poem so good she thought you copied it from something.
Right. I was like, no, can't even, she didn't even want to hear an explanation. She don't want to hear nothing. She's fixed on that she's convinced it's not yours. You're a little boy. What the hell? Yo,
that's amazing. Hey, isn't that funny, man? I
started experimenting, but I started thinking, this might be because I feel this way about her, that I wrote that well.
Right.
Because I was really liking the girl, you know what I mean? So I think I was feeling so passionate about her that I wrote that well. So I started writing random stuff about the weather and stuff. I'll see an incident throughout the day. I'll write about it. I'll see a kid fall on a bike. I'll write about it. The weather, the birds, whatever, and I'll show random people because my friends, I had a feeling they were blowing smoke up my, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I showed random people who have no excuse, who no reason to butter it up. And they'll be like, it's good. This is good. Some say, you didn't write this.
Right.
Some are like, this is great.
Right.
Some says, yeah. So that's how it went, man.
Man, it's fun. It's funny, man. Not like I would say 85% of creative people are inspired by love, right? Like, or by some girl or some guy that that validated them when they were young. No, serious, like comedy for me. I mean, early on in my comedy, I got a lot of validation from girls, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be the funniest I want to be the funniest person ever. Like, this is what it's like. And that's just funny, man. Musicians, and that's crazy. That's so funny. You can always trace everybody's love and passion back to some girl.
Yeah, or some love story, or some
love story,
or something. Yeah,
it's hella funny, man. So,
and you know what? Another thing I realized, like when men and women gather in their little groups of conversation, they always have to hit a topic involving the opposite sex.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah.
Throughout the conversation.
Yeah,
you have
for sure.
To hit that point one time or the other.
Always.
It's a must topic. Yeah.
That's great, man. So around 13, it was around that time that you started testing yourself. You're at this point, you believe that this could be your talent now, right? You're a little. It's scary because it's coming easier, not easy, like you didn't work for it, but people are really enjoying it so far. So where are you with school, and where are you with now? You found possibly the gift that you've been blessed with at this point.
Right.
What happens at this point now?
So I got this thing I'm still experimenting with. As I told you, I was writing random stuff.
Right.
Trying to get impressions from people. And then, but I didn't expose it much. I revealed it to certain friends, close friends, but as far as getting it out there, because I didn't need to look any more weak than I looked already. This is poetry,
I'm skinny. My mom left me. What more? And I write poetry. I'm gonna get beat up every day.
Right. So I was like, look, man, I keep this in the circle.
Right.
But then it happened where I had to expose myself because this thing came. There's this thing called the Circle of Poets. I don't know if you ever heard of it. They travel the world. From my understanding, they travel the world and they do these events in certain areas, and they invite all poets, especially from the schools, to come and perform. And that year, I can't remember what year. It was in Trinidad and Tobago. They came there and they invited the poets from our school. Which weren't very much. It was actually just two of us. It was just one until I revealed myself. And And then they're like, oh, Dwayne writes. You know, someone mentioned Dwayne writes. Then the teacher
Right.
came to me like, somebody snitched on me, you know. And then the teacher came to me like, hey, so you write? I was like, yeah. Like, well, the circle of poets are here, and da 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 da. Alana has been the only one representing. You might want to join her. You want to join her, you know, and help represent the school or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I figured I'll do it, you know. And man, I was surprised. I was nervous. We're talking about people from different schools all over in the country that's
Right.
there in this audience,
Right.
you know, and had all eyes look like judges, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they're there to judge, not really to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
But when I recited mine, I was really surprised and blown away by the reaction I got, especially from the females.
For sure. I'm seeing the theme here, Dwayne. I get it. I get it, Dwayne.
Like, Dad, this is it. This is it. You know, that put the lid on top, man.
So let me ask you, man. Like you said, personally, writing the physical words on paper or however you decided to write, it was therapeutic for you. What does the validation from other people do for you? What when you share what you have written with other people and they show appreciation, whatever it's, they swoon over you or they laugh or they cry, what does that part do for you?
That just tells me that they relate,
right,
in some way or the other. But what I look for is there's those that say, you know, this is a good poem. You know, they appreciate the nature for the poem itself, the words, the way rhymes fall, stuff like that. You know, the build of it. But there's an aesthetic beauty to poetry, you know, and when you could relate to it, that look that the person gives you when they can relate to what you're saying and they feel you, you know, that is what I do it for, man. For just to let people know that you're not alone out here.
Sure,
there's someone out there that could relate.
Right.
You know,
for sure.
And that's what I want. That moment, yeah, man.
So you migrated to the United States around 19. How did you end up coming over? How did you end up coming over, and where's your poetry career at that point?
So I'm 19 years old. I'm out of school. I already decided that my mom is not gonna come get me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, look, you've been gone since I was 7 years old, man. You know, like it's all good. You know. So I just decided to, you know, whatever hustle I could do to make money, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my friend was into construction. He invited me. He's like, this guy's hiring, man. You know. And back then, you know, it was good money. So I was like, oh, I'll do that. So I started doing it. But I was like, I started to think into the future, like, this is not going to make it for me. I can't do this. When I get old and I can't climb these heights and hammer these nails, you know, like what's going to happen? I can't. So I started to go to night school while I work.
Yeah.
You know, and then out of the blue, man, this strange lady came to the house one time and she was like, not strange, but I wasn't familiar with her face.
Yeah.
And she said, your mother is sending for you, guy. Sending for you. Now that means she got through with the green card. You know, she had gotten married. And she got, you know, I guess she filed with my stepfather to get us finally. You know, tickets were ready apparently and everything, but we had physicals and stuff we had to do, running all around.
Right.
So my aunt came, one of my mother's aunts, my great aunt, picked me up, ran us, me and my sister. She ran us all over the country to these different positions and whatnot to do whatever we needed to do.
Yeah.
And
hey, what's that feeling like? Because I'm personalizing your story because my mom met my dad in America, and I think right around the time she got pregnant with me is when my brother ended up coming over. You understand? Okay. So he was born in Ethiopia. He was there from 9 until I was born. So for about not 10 years or 9 years, he was there living with family. And then same as your story, he finally ended up coming over around the time that I was born in America. So like, what is that feeling like for you at that time when you've gotten this message from your mother? Are you excited or like?
Oh man, I'm really excited.
Okay.
I'm excited as hell, man. And my sister had gotten. I remained after that early trauma with the poetry.
Mm. Yeah.
And that was a positive and a negative in a way, because it helped me find my talent. But I stayed away from. I didn't mess with females, man, for a long time. I didn't start messing with females, you know. Yeah. So my sister, she was already having boyfriends, and she was like 2 years younger than I was.
Right.
She already was having boyfriend and stuff, and she had a boyfriend at that time, and she didn't want to leave him. So I had to catch her, bring her back, so we could get out of this. I was like, Mom, work hard. We don't know what she went through to get us,
right?
You know, to get us. Let's go.
Amazing, yeah.
So it was
where was your mom living?
She was in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
Staying in Brooklyn.
So you touched down in New York, and this is your first time to America, right?
Things just keep happening. My mom is like, dress well, because this is in the middle of January.
Right. Oh, dress well, like put on. Oh my gosh, I can only imagine. Okay.
You know, I know dress well to be, make sure your clothes clean and ironed, and you're looking.
Fresh, that's what you thought. Yeah. Hey man, you showed up like Sanka from Cool Runnings, huh? The dreads was all frozen.
Man, she said, put on some clothes, man. It's cold up here. And then she got even more specific. She's like, it's very cold here. Make sure you put on some layers of clothes.
Yeah.
And I'm finding very hard to picture that, and I couldn't picture doing that because it's hot, man. Imagine people look at me like I'm crazy. Like, what? You're not in America yet. Like, what the hell are you doing, man? And I'm cooking there.
Yeah. So
I was like, nah, man. I put on my 3/4 pants. That's like one of them short jeans.
Right.
And my Clarks. They wear Clarks back then. And a T-shirt.
Oh, God.
And that was it, man.
Oh, my God.
And I hit that airport, man. I almost disappeared. I almost believed teleporting was possible, man, that moment. I thought I'd take my way back home right now,
Hey, man, look, the other people on the plane didn't give you an indication? Because I know the other people on the plane was coated up and everything.
Yeah. They had their thing with them. They didn't put it on, but they had their little stashes and whatnot. And then everybody started changing.
Yeah.
I'm looking around. All right, maybe we're about to arrive, That's all I took it as, And then I started to feel cold, man. And then I looked out the window and it's just white. And I'm like, what the hell? And then that breeze hit me when that hit the door, man. And and your face get tight, and you're like looking like Zoom, And then I came in the airport and I'm freezing and I'm exiting.
Yeah.
And the closer I get to the exit, I'm just. I saw my mom came in. She knew. I guess she knew somehow that I wouldn't.
She listened to you. Yeah, you was.
She bought a jacket. I saw her coming with a jacket, running. She put us in our jackets and stuff. She walked with jacket.
Amazing, man. So, what's your first few years in America like? You're about 19, 20 at this point. You're in New York, which is like one of the most historical cities in America. Obviously, what are you thinking about New York at this point in America?
Well,
did you know English at the time? Right? Did you? I mean, I'm just being ignorant at this point. Did you know English?
It's English.
Okay.
We all in the Caribbean there speak English, but it's
no, that's not English out there, man. Sometimes y'all be saying some words. I have no idea what you talking about. Come on now, don't play me, man.
It's not proper English. It's not well spoken.
Yeah.
All over the place. If I say, instead of saying put it on the table, I'd be like, put it on the table.
Yeah.
I don't know where pan came from instead of on. How you get pan, from on, but the context. Everything is context, man. Tone and context. I could say something that doesn't even make any sense, but because of the tone or context in which I say it or how I point, Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
You're talking about, you asked me about, I'm in Brooklyn, 19 years old. Well, good for me. Brooklyn is a very, it's infested, man, with Caribbean, with people from the Caribbean.
Wow.
Barbados, Bajans.
Yeah.
Intentions, Trinidad and Tobago, Grenadians.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Trinidad and Tobago, all over.
Yeah.
Venezuela, Puerto Rico, everywhere. So that felt a little like home for me, having people with similar accents around.
Right.
I still never got accustomed to the Bajan accent, which is from Barbados. It always makes me laugh. I never. So entertaining.
That's amazing. But, and so, what's your favorite? What's your favorite part about being in New York at this point? Besides from how many people have similar Caribbean backgrounds as you?
Girls. Honestly, man, I'm gonna be true. Girls, man.
Be honest, hey.
There's girls everywhere.
Jay-Z tried to tell you. Too Short tried to tell you.
I mean, I wasn't paying attention to that stuff before, man. I grew up very religious, and I focus on my religion and my poetry. Liking that girl was the furthest I went from anything.
Right, from your
And I come here and I'm all half naked girls, and especially in the summertime.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my new.
Yo, you were like, wait, they have all types of shapes and sizes and colors. They come in every variation in New York.
I'm telling you, man, I didn't even know people were mixed this much,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, so, yeah, man.
But I'm young. No, I'm a teen. I never at 19
had a girlfriend. Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It's just food. I'm just seeing food.
Right everywhere. Yeah. And then you were taking night classes, you said, and you graduated high school. Did you have any intentions of like enrolling in colleges in New York at this point, or what was happening for you there? Were you working when you came in, or were you just kind of getting adjusted?
I came here and then I was on the block, man. But besides chasing girls and whatnot, I was on the block.
Yeah.
I was on the block smoking and all.
Yeah.
Marijuana is something they look at it like an offense up here. Like,
yeah.
Back home, you could still get arrested for it.
Yeah.
If you ridiculous with it, or you're just selling and you're being blatant with it, and But once you keep to yourself, nobody bothers you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I grew up seeing that all over me, all around. My family members selling that stuff. It grew everywhere.
Right.
So I came and I continued that here, but I realized I had to be more careful here.
Right.
So I was hanging on the block, just chilling, man, not wasting time, basically.
Yeah.
Not really studying school or anything, but I always kept on writing. I always write.
Okay.
I kept writing throughout that whole time.
Yeah.
I always write. And I figured I need to get a job, so I started working in Rite Aid in Manhattan for $200 a week, man. And in New York City, no, man.
Hey, what'd you think of New Yorkers, man? Because I know like the Caribbean lifestyle is obviously I can only assume just from all the stereotypes of what the Caribbean lifestyle is like versus what I know what New Yorkers like, right? Short-tempered, just in your face, abrasive. What was that like for you? Just kind of working at Rite Aid, dealing with everybody. It's crazy, right?
It's crazy. It's crazy. From the moment that I touched down, it began because people don't have manners. It was the first thing I think to myself. These people don't have manners. Like you say good morning, good evening, and shit. They look at you like you're trying to rob them. You know what I mean?
This needs to be a movie,
Don't
Dwayne.
stop
This
me.
needs to
Don't
be a
stop me,
movie. I'm
man.
sorry, dude. This needs to be a movie. This is hilarious.
And these people crossing the street because I asked directions. You know, I'm like, yo, I'm lost. I got lost across the block because everywhere looks the same, man. I was right. I was literally one block away from where I was staying. But I didn't know that because everywhere looked the same. I'm like, God damn, I'm lost. You know what I mean? So I'm asking this lady, I thought she crossed the street. She looked at me dead in my eyes and she kind of fidgeted a little and crossed the street, man. I was like, it's like that? And I had to actually look for a black person to ask.
Right.
Man.
Hey, man, I remember
when I went to consider race when I'm asking directions. It's crazy. I never experienced racism like that before, you know?
Yeah.
Back in Trinidad and Tobago, there's underlined dislike kind of between Indians and Negroes in some of them for whatever reason, mostly personal. But it's not a racial thing where I hate all Indians.
Yeah.
All, no, it's more personal.
Right.
On a personal level. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I come up there and it's full blown, like, you know?
Yeah, they look at you like you're less than a human. Right.
You know, and some of them even, you know, like nigger, like nobody.
Right.
You know, that was really shocking for me. I asked my mom about it.
Wow.
I went up to the house because I was so shocked.
Yeah.
And I asked my mom. She's like, "This is America. There's nothing Trinidad and Tobago. It's America. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to, you know, try and learn. Try to catch up quick because they'll eat you up out here."
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
Don't go into the neighbor to ask for sugar. Stuff like that.
It's crazy, Dwayne. You know, we were supposed to obviously try to do this interview a lot earlier, but I think maybe the 2 weekends after I met you is when America finally realized about racism and everything flipped upside down, and you know, my attention was kind of taken other. But you know what is that? What do you think about just how America has treated Black Americans, how America has just kind of swept it under the rug, like coming from Trinidad and Tobago? I mean, I know that's a big question, but you know, just in short, just like what has that experience been like for this past 2020 dealing with race relations in America? I mean, like what is that like for you? Just witnessing all this explode, really.
I think it's very petty of us as human beings because not even the dog cares about what color that female is.
Right, exactly.
And we are supposed to be the intelligent being.
Right, exactly. Planet. Right.
And we're looking at the pigmentation of a skin and using that and living our lives around that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's the pettiest thing we could entertain.
I feel the same way, man. I feel the same way. Yeah. You know,
exactly.
I love that, you know, we claim to be the more evolved beings, right? And then you have all these species of dogs and cats and deers. They don't fight over, oh, that deer, those are the deers with the small antlers. We don't mess with them.
Right.
Yeah, right. Like it's crazy, man. It's crazy because I was born closest to the equator, or my family was closest to the equator. It is petty. I agree with that, man. So I'm sorry to get off track, but so how did you end up joining the military, man? Was it a situation in which your mom was like, "Hey, you either need to get a job or you need to sign up for the military," or what? Like, how does that happen?
Well, the thing is, we just fell right back into the way of the Caribbean when we got here when we ended up as a family in the same home.
Okay.
And how it is practiced back home, there are guys that are 40, 45 years old, still living in their parents' compound. You know, they either extended the original home
Yeah.
or build a separate home
Yeah.
in yard or whatever, but they don't go very far.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of them that stay right there, even in the same home with their mother and father. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a problem. Like in America, they're quick to get you out your house. The parents try to encourage you to stay back home. You know, I don't know if it's changed now because everyone is trying to be like America now. Everywhere is trying to be Americanized. I realize.
Right.
So that might not be anymore. But with me growing up, that's how it was. So my mom was like that with me. She didn't push me out at all. She was like, shit, you can stay here forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just do something.
I just got you back. Yeah. So, I just got you back.
Right. Trying to catch up. We playing catch up, you know?
Right.
So I was on the block. She knew I was smoking, but I never disrespected her as to smoke in front of her face.
Right.
For her to see that.
Right.
So I always kept it away. She knew I was on the block. She knew I was this, but she loved me so much. She never really penalized me much or taught me much out of. She'd be like, Dwayne, you need to stop that smoking that marijuana and stuff. You know, she'd throw something there, but she couldn't get down on me.
Right.
And then this recruiter, man, this particular recruiter every day will be coming out there and targeting me. He'll have 100 guys out there.
Yeah.
He'll target me. I don't know if it's because I was the skinniest guy or the fittest looking or whatever, but he just targeted me.
Right.
And I'd be like, why are you coming? Why, man?
Right.
What do you want? Yeah, you know, and after a while, I was like, look, I'll entertain you and I'll see what you're showing me and leave me alone after today, man. Just find somebody else to bother. Because I told you, you're not going to kill me.
Yeah.
You're not going to kill me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's my mentality.
I'm not going to fight. Yeah.
So, right. So I got a green card at this moment.
Right.
Note well. Green card. I'm not a citizen of. So I go to the recruit station. I say, he showed me this video. Real cool stuff. You know what I mean? Jumping out of the plane, shooting in. You know what I mean? Dashing here. You know what I mean? Like, cover me while I'm on. I'm like, damn, man. You know? I want to shoot something too. I want to shoot something. I'm 19. Crazy, man. You know this guy got me to join?
Oh, my God.
And the most dangerous job, the infantry.
How did you get into infantry, man? How did you get into infantry, man?
My score.
How you go
My score wasn't very high.
How you go from smoking on the block to joining infantry, man? That's the opposite, bro.
I know, man. Like, I just wanted, you know, I was kind of tired of being out there too because nothing was going anywhere. I have a little luck here and there, you know, but I'm like, is this what it's going to be? You know? So this was kind of like a window out when I looked up, you know, looking out a window like this is what's possible, you know?
Right.
So I jumped out, man. I jumped out the window.
Literally jumped out the plane too.
Right. Then I went airborne, started parachuting, you know, parachuter.
Yeah.
I have about 40, 45 jumps.
Yeah.
I was crazy.
Favorite. What was
things I'm looking at now? Like I wouldn't even do that now. You know, like what was I thinking?
Where was the favorite place that you spent time in? Because you said I believe you said you did a few tours. Where did you end up doing your tours and where were your I guess where were the kind of more memorable places that you spent in the military?
Okay, so I have to say Bulgaria.
Bulgaria, okay.
Yeah, we went to Bulgaria, and that wasn't really the destination. We just kind of ended up there because my first deployment was to Kosovo.
Okay.
I don't know if you know about the Serbs and Albanians fighting each other over there, and we had to go play police. So we are both their enemies now. We got to watch our ass from both sides. And we just put ourselves in that position. I never understood that, but and then so when we go to leave on R&R, which is rest and relax, you know, some time to get your shit together and come back, you know.
Right.
They send you on these places. They'll send you somewhere, and we went to Bulgaria, which is a neighboring, you know, it's neighboring where we were at.
Right.
not very far, but it's out of the drama. So we change into civilian clothes. We call it civies. You know, regular clothes like what I have on here. Try to blend in with the.
I imagine it's a little harder for someone like you to blend in than some of the other people.
Yeah, first of all, this here, you know, and then you know.
Yeah, your accent too, man. It's like, wait a minute, you ain't from Bulgaria, are you? You from the south part of Bulgaria?
Deep south.
What part of Bulgaria are you from, man? All right, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yo, and you know, what was strange about it? Well, I would say the people, they use lev over there. Lev. So the currency was a nice, decent exchange for US dollars, you know. I didn't never find it hard to afford something that I wanted, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And so,
And then the thing is, they speak another language there. I'm not sure what it is, but I was impressed of how many people knew English. I was really impressed about that. You know what I mean? So, because we needed a translator that spoke Albanian and Serbian. I had a translator with me when we were going around to translate for us.
Right.
And then I go in this place, this neighboring place, and you know, I don't need a translator anymore. Right there, you know.
Wow. Right.
And
so you could just be yourself.
We had a lot of fun.
Right.
You know, we got us in, we vented, and then we was ready. We went back, you know, and it's continued our tour. You know?
So, did you ever have a moment for your or moments where you're just like, "What the hell? Where am I?" Like I was in TNT 10 years ago, and now I'm in Bulgaria buying beer.
I have those, but not as much as I have the moments where I'm like, what am I doing here, man? Like, how the hell did I end up here? I'll be in the middle of a battle, man, asking myself that question.
Yeah.
I remember getting slapped in my head one time, like, like, you know, wait, what the hell? Gray, let's go. You know what I mean?
Dude, you.
A lot of that.
Hey, man, you're the Black Forrest Gump. You ever seen Forrest Gump? You're just everywhere. You know how Forrest Gump was,
man.
You're the Caribbean Forrest Gump, man. You just like, man.
Let's run, man. Let's run.
Yeah, let's just go. Let's run. Exactly. You said life is like a pack of marijuana, man. You know, instead of a box of chocolates. Yeah. Life is like an eighth. No, so look, your time in the military, it said you were in it and then you took some time off and then you joined back in a few years later. Were you writing throughout this whole time?
Throughout the whole time, and I never stopped.
Wow. Okay.
I had little droughts. I had some droughts where I'll go for days, weeks, a month with nothing.
Yeah.
You know? But then there had times where I was flooding and I couldn't keep up. And I had to constantly stay with pen and paper to jot these ideas down because they go like that.
Where's your creative like do you have where are you most creative? I'll ask that question because for me, honestly, whenever I'm like in water is when I'm able to think the most about like, you know, jokes I'm gonna write or scenarios or whatever. So whatever, if I'm in a pool or in a hot tub or showering, that's where I'm most creative. And then also just late at night is times when I like to work on projects as well. So for you, you know, are there moments or is it just throughout the day 24/7 you can just think of something or and jot something down?
It happens. Usually, what happened? How it usually happened was just random, man.
Yeah,
random. Like there's not even a mood set. I'm not even looking for it. You know, like let me What's the last one that happened? Let me see. My last poem. I was talking to my buddy at work, and we were talking about something with the racial,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said something, man, and after that, I didn't hear anything else he said from that point on, because the thing that he said resembled a poem
I
to
got
me.
you. Yeah.
You know, I was
Right.
like, wait a minute. Like, wait.
Yeah.
And I was in my head from that point, but he continued talking, looking at me
Right.
like I'm really paying attention. Like Dwayne is listening to me, man. He's even pondering, you know. But I'm
Yeah.
thinking about that line he said, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yo, man, I just got something. I got to go write it for you. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you how this thing works, because
Yeah.
he's been asking how it works.
Right.
That poetry thing.
Right.
He thinks it's a forceful thing where you sit down and you consciously just know.
Nah.
So
It
I was
comes
like,
to
I'll
you.
show you. And then I wrote it about 15 minutes later. I came back. I was like, here.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, this is awesome,
Hey,
man. You
man.
just
I always walk around with this notebook. You know, I always got to have a notebook with me, right? Yeah.
yeah. But now it's been a lot through music. When I listen to music. Yeah.
Okay. What are you listening to nowadays, man?
Man, I'm having some confrontational poems now because I've been listening to a lot of Nipsey Hussle, man.
Okay.
A lot of Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And the guy's positive, man. He's, you know?
Yeah.
I enjoy his music.
You said a lot of confrontational poems, huh?
Yeah, like, you know, enough of it, man.
I love that. I love that. So fast forwarding out of the military, how did you go about getting your first piece published? How does that happen?
So I've always thought of being an author as being something well-paying,
Mm-hmm.
hard to do, hard to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they say, you need money to make money. So I was like, I probably only gonna need a lot of money to publish a book.
Right.
That just registered in my subconscious from wherever it came from, and it's been misleading me for a long time, because I always
discouraging you.
Cost thousands of dollars to publish a book, you know, and I have to impress how many people before it does get the final yes.
Right.
And I'm like, nah, I'll just write for myself, you know, and write for my friends and people. You know, occasionally I write something if the occasion presents itself, you know.
Right.
But not a book, you know. I'm not going through all that.
Yeah. You have to get you know, all the legal stuff, and it just discourages you. Okay, yeah, I got you.
And so I came to Atlanta. I'm still writing. I'm out of the military now. This is 2017.
Okay.
My mother bought a brand new home in Atlanta. Just bought the house straight out.
Yeah.
And then she got lonely up in there, so she's like, "Come join us." You know what I mean? So everybody's up there with her. Me, my sister, my wife. You know what I'm saying? My two daughters.
Mm-hmm.
We're there. My sister and her kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom had a friend that was incarcerated, and he was released during that time I was there.
Mm-hmm.
He came out after, you know, they realizing he was wrongfully in there to begin with. Out, and then he came. His name is Glenn Williams. He came to the home there, and he saw me writing. And he's like, "What you got there? What you doing?" I was like, "This is my thing, man. I just write, you know, every now and then I vent on paper, you know, I write poetry." And he's like, you gonna make a book someday or something, or you know, what are you gonna do with it?
Right.
I was like, nah, this is my thing, you know.
That's my thing, yeah.
You know, book. I look like I got book money, man. I look like I got book money. This is my mom's home. This is not my home, you know.
Yeah.
So she's like, "What are you talking about, man? This guy just came from prison, and he's showing me the ropes out here." He's like, "Look, out." Typed up on my thing, createspace.com.
Okay.
Which is associated with Amazon. Amazon's responsible for it.
Okay.
And I went on there and showed me how to make a book without spending a dime, how to upload my book. I have to edit it myself and do all the stuff.
Right.
You know? But I mean, that's easy for me. I mean, I could have done it. I was already familiar with the computer and how it works, so I didn't really need much. You know, he
training
showed me
on
how
that.
to maneuver.
Right.
Right, and that he was responsible for me being able to publish my first book, Mirror of Poems, which I was so proud of, man, in 2017. And I gave him credit for it and everything, you know, in the book itself. And you know, it was like a dream come true, man. Literally, man. I never imagined that I'll have a
you
book.
have a 5-star ratings on Amazon.
Probably some people that purchased it.
Yeah, 5-star rating on Amazon, man. Yeah. So I mean, everything from how do you set the price of the book? Like, how did you? What was your feeling on that? I'm so interested in the business part of it. Why did you decide to? Did you ever think about using like a pseudonym or a fake name or a different alter ego? You know, or did you always want to make sure that your name was tied to these poems? Because some people have a strategy about just I don't know, using a different
Yeah. Well, I never considered doing that because I remember when I used to read as a child, I wish I met the person who wrote that Peter Pan book. That was my first book that I ever wrote.
Peter Pan.
And that I ever read. Peter Pan. And I was like, man, I wish I could meet this person, you know? I wish I could spin a video of them or like be in the same place they were somewhere, you know what I mean?
Right.
This person is awesome, you know?
Right.
And I think it helps when it helps the relationship when people find something that they like, you know, writing that they like, and they could see how much they could, you know, similarities they have to that person, or look into this person and, you know, really know something about them as their favorite, you know what I mean, or whatever. Right. So I try to provide the audience who's interested in me something to look at if they choose to look for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To quench that appetite. Yeah.
And so how do you set the price for your books and what have you learned through actually publishing it? Have you learned anything about, have you changed your writing style at all because of maybe feedback you've gotten, or how have things changed about your writing now that you've published some of these works? You have 3 books?
3 books. Working on in fact, my 4th is finished now, but we'll get into that. Okay. But the name, you will not believe that the name is the most challenging part of the book to me. Name and the cover design. The content isn't. So I'll write a whole book, but that's not the challenging part. It's the cover and the name.
Right.
Grabbing the audience, something that will grab the audience attention.
Yeah.
Visual, and when they read it, they might find that interesting,
So has your writing style changed at all from publishing these books?
No, I've used different. When you say writing style, the format in which I write.
I mean, yeah. I mean, was there anything from your first book that you ended up publishing? Was there anything that gave you any did you receive any criticism, or did you decide any changes or differences from
the original way I went about it? Well, okay. From the first book, I'd use Times New Romans in typing the book.
I got you. Okay.
But the other 2, I tried to make it a little more. I tried to connect with the audience a little more by using this. I think there's another one that it looks like someone's handwriting. It's cursive.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I just to connect with the audience a little more, because trust me, it's different someone typing a letter to you versus someone taking the time to sit and write with their handwriting that letter to you. There's a difference there. And there's no connection with that typing really. But when someone sits and takes their time to show that you're important enough for me to sit here and spend my time writing to you, you know, it means something. So I tried to convey that idea through the book. The next I did after that using cursive writing.
See, all of that is crazy. Just even just the little design details, all that stuff is just so crazy that, you've had to learn all that on your own, right?
Yeah. I had to beat my head and now I'm trying to use illustrations with my next book. I don't know how that's going to work out, but that's my intention. You know, I want to jump into illustrations as well. Okay. Right now, I don't use any. Yeah.
That's amazing, man. And so what? So how do you feel now, finally being a published poet? Right, like that's something that was an unattainable dream growing up. You never thought you were gonna get to that point, but you kept pushing at it. Looking back now, what does that do for you now?
Well, it feels great, and I just realized that I didn't answer a question that you said about the pricing.
Yeah.
But let me just answer it real quick before I move on.
Sure.
The pricing, I try to look at. I want everybody to enjoy it, so I deliberately sell myself short, I think. And I price it. The prices are what I think anyone should be able to scrape up and hustle up. Right. I want everybody to afford it.
Which you designed the Stephon Marbury shoes. You remember back when he came out with his own shoes, he made sure that his shoes were affordable for everybody. So that Jordans cost $200. His shoes I think was like $26. He was like everybody. He sold them at the price of what they cost to make. Yeah. You said everybody needs to enjoy this. Yeah.
Yeah, I want everybody to enjoy it, man. I don't want to price something that hinders you from enjoying something like this or learning from something. It's very inspirational poems. I've been told a lot of people get inspiration from it. That's what I get a lot. Some people get humor. Some people relate because they've been in the military too, and I have some military, related poems in there. Okay. So they get those, So everybody is gravitated to something different within the book. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I try to make it affordable most of all, but keep it, cheap. It's not about making the money. I wanna spread the positive vibes to as many people in the world as I can. You know what I mean? Positivity.
For sure.
I don't think I'll get rich off of this.
Yeah.
But it's a passion. I do it for the love, really, man.
So Dwayne, where do you hope to take your career at this point? You've seen that it's attainable, right? Getting your stuff published. You have it out there now on Amazon. You've had an incredible journey. I hope there's a movie of your story, man. I've enjoyed this, what you've shared with me so far. What do you hope to accomplish in the future?
I want to improve. I want to be able to reach more people, to be able to relate to more people, become a better writer, and not really be famous. Rich wouldn't hurt, but famous not necessary.
Right.
I just want to get this word as far out as I can. I want to accomplish that, man. I want to be able to walk into a random stranger one day and hear them mention, "Hey, have you read that book by
Yeah.
Not knowing it's me, you know?
Right.
Or a kid going in the library to borrow my book in the library, or I want it to be, get really vast out there, reach. I want to expand. I want to get as far as I can with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you were to give yourself one word of advice before you hopped on the plane to come to America at 19 years old, if you had to give that Dwayne Gray one piece of advice, what would it be?
I'm trying to tie it into one advice, but it's two things actually.
Let's hear.
The first thing will be put on a sweater. and you should have put on a sweater. And the next Be patient. Be patient. I think that's what I'll tell them, because a lot of things I realized just because I've lost out on because I wasn't patient.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if I just had that one bit of patience remaining to last around the corner, I would have gotten what I've been working towards. You know,
right.
And I just thank God that He decided to show me my talent, even though I gave up praying for it.
Right.
You know.
Right.
You know, but I would, you know, but persistence is something that is underestimated. And I think, you know, that should be something that is encouraged. You know? So I want to demonstrate that to my daughters coming up who are looking at me, you know?
Right.
You know, that's up. Always believe in yourself and strive for what you're trying to get.
I believe that message 100%, man. Dwayne, man, how do people find your work, your pieces of work, and what's your forthcoming book title, and when will that be ready to be purchased?
Wow. Okay. So you can find me on Instagram, Dwayne Gray 85. YouTube, Poet Dwayne Gray. Facebook, Dwayne Gray. I'm not making it hard at all.
Right.
No fancy business, you know what I mean?
Right.
Straight to the point. And I'm working on a web page, my own page right now, my own site, my own website. So hold on for that one. You could type in Dwayne Gray on Amazon. You'll see my books pop up there. As far as the next book, like I was saying, I got the content is already done. It's just I'm struggling with the name and the cover of the book.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So that's what it is right now. That's how close I am to publishing. But it should be done this year. I'm trying to get it published before December.
Amazing. Yeah. All right, let's get those books out before Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, Dwayne, man, I appreciate your time, man. This has been a really fun story to hear, man. I appreciated meeting you the first time we did, and doing all the research about hearing about your life, and one of the things that I respect most about people that I do meet and appreciate is just, no matter what their hurdles have been in their life, right? They've overcome them or are overcoming them or dealing with those things. And I love people that are working towards their passions. Because in a world where so many people do things that, they think they're supposed to do rather than what they want to do, I really respect that you're pushing forward with your dream, man. And that's inspirational for me. So I appreciate you sharing that with me and everyone else that's listening.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, man. I was really thrilled when you gave me the call. So
yeah,
I appreciate you having me here, man.
Of course,
and my daughters wouldn't forgive me if I don't shout them out. So Leasha and Jaleesa, I love you. That's my two daughters. My wife Jillian, love you to death.
Okay.
And she knows. She inspired one of those poems that I wrote for my fourth book here. It's gonna be in there. She inspired one last night. I just wrote it last night. So my next book is gonna be interesting as well, man.
Amazing. Dwayne, man, thank you so much, bro. Appreciate you. All right.